Theresa May made her first trip to Brussels this week, while the leaders of the UK's devolved nations have pushed for more involvement in Brexit. The British Prime Minister has spoken at her first European summit in Brussels. It was not, however, a welcoming affair. The European leaders listened to Mrs May in silence, while Jean-Claude Juncker shrugged his shoulders when asked how it went. This was also confirmation that there will be no talks before Article 50 is triggered. The frosty atmosphere, possibly resulting from Mrs May's tough speech to the Conservative Party conference, has heightened the idea that Britain is heading for a clean break from the EU. The French President, François Hollande, has also promised a tough stance in negotiations. Back at home, things are looking just as tricky. Trouble is brewing in the form of Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland. The leaders of the devolved nations visited Downing Street to voice their concerns they are being left out of the Brexit process, while pushing for a softer break with Brussels. Mrs May is going to continue facing these calls until more details are revealed, but that is unlikely to be much before early 2017. The collapse of a free trade agreement between Canada and the EU portends some of the battles ahead. After 7 years of negotiations, the Wallonian Parliament in Belgium has blocked the deal, and Belgium therefore cannot back it. There is good news for both sides of the Brexit argument here. For Remainers, the failure to get a deal with Canada shows just how hard it's going to be to negotiate a UK-EU free trade deal. If it can't be done in 7 years with Canada, how can it possibly be done with 2 years when Britain withdraws? But for Brexiters, it is confirmation that the EU is a dysfunctional institution locked up in its own complicated procedures and internal contradictions. The idea that the Wallonian Parliament has blocked this important deal has given succor to the idea that Britain is better off walking away from a broken institution. Brexit has done little to dent Britain's jobs miracle. The latest data shows that the unemployment rate in August remained steady at 4.9%. That's an 11-year low. 106,000 more people were in work than in the previous 3-month period. That was in contrast, however, to a spike in inflation, which is predicted to go on rising throughout next year. The biggest question facing the jobs market, however, is going to be migration. If the government is successful in curbing numbers and introducing the rumoured work permits, this will undoubtedly slow down the labour market and potentially hit economic growth too.